In the late 70s, my dad made all sorts of connections to get me a return permit. And Ethan Carter, the educated youth I had a rural assignment with, proposed to me that day, and we got married and went back to the city together. We were very much in love, had children and helped him to become famous. However, he threw away my medication while I was traveling on an asthma attack and watched me struggle for my life and death. He said viciously, "If you hadn't forced me to get married under the pretext of return permit at that time, I wouldn't have broken up with Clara Dawson, and she wouldn't have married a scoundrel and been beaten to death in that village. She died in so much pain and you were happy for decades and now you're going to try her pain too." I realized that he hated me for decades for his white moon. Opening my eyes again, I went back to the day I got Dad's telegram. Point 1. Marry him, marry him. The screams and uproar of bystanders woke me up. I found myself standing at the entrance to the Educated Youth Field Department at the entrance to the village, and in front of me stood Ethan Carter, looking at me with a tense expression on his face. He held his red face. "Liz Bennett, I've liked you for a long time, and I promise you that if we get married, I'll treat you well, love you, and not let you suffer." I froze. I was born again, reborn 40 years ago. I had just received a telegram from my dad saying that he had gotten me a return permit. I was shaking with excitement and looked at Ethan Carter in front of me. This man, who had gotten me killed in my last life, I wasn't going to give him any more chances this time. I stepped back and looked at Ethan Carter. And behind him stood Clara Dawson with tears in her eyes, tugging at her coat, and I realized later that the two of them were already engaged to be married at this point in their lives. In my last life, when my father came to the telegraph, the city had just come out with a new rule. If educated youth have been married, those who return to the city can bring their families back to the city with them. Ethan Carter was aware of this news, immediately proposed to me, coaxed me to type a marriage license, and logically returned to the city with me. In other people's eyes, Ethan Carter has two good relations with female educated youth, Clara Dawson and I. He proposed to me, and everyone thought that he finally saw his true heart and chose me, not realizing that he was doing it for his own sake, wanting to borrow me back to the city to propose to me, and then trying to find a way to transfer Clara Dawson back to the city. He was unable to get a return permit, and because he relied on my father for his job, he didn't dare to ask for it. Clara Dawson could only stay in the village, and he blamed me for everything. I shivered. Now, as I listened to the uproar in my ears and looked at Ethan Carter in front of me, I clutched the telegram in my hand and took a step back. "Ethan Carter, aren't you with Clara Dawson? Why are you suddenly proposing to me again? You're so unfocused. What do you want Clara Dawson to do? Look at her, she's about to cry. You quickly coax her." I saw Clara Dawson freeze and look at me with her mouth open. And Ethan Carter with a flustered look on his face explained, "Who said that? How could I possibly be with Clara Dawson? The person I've always liked is you, not her. Believe me, Liz." Clara Dawson's face brushed white and tears welled up in her eyes as I smiled crookedly. "But the other day I saw you guys hugging each other at threshing ground and I thought you were in a confirmed relationship." The educated youth and villagers gathered nearby began to murmur, "No way." Ethan Carter confirms his relationship with Clara Dawson and turns around and proposes to Liz Bennett. 2. This male educated youth. I saw him and that Clara Dawson girl holding hands over at Cornfield last time, and I said, broad days, yeah. I've seen the two of them kissing by the river when I go to night patrol at night too. Shame on me. No way. Clara Dawson is not acting very noble. Usually in the dormitory, said Ethan Carter's family is not good. Can't get her back to the city. Not willing to be with her. So early together. Clara Dawson's face reddened, tears falling down, while crying. Liz Bennett. I know we both have a crush on Ethan Carter at the same time. He now proposes to you. You won't have to insult me so much. When did Ethan Carter and I get together? We're just simply together. Rural assignment, educated youth, gay relationships. You guys must be looking at the wrong people. How could I be in a relationship with Ethan Carter? Clara Dawson looks beautiful. Has always been in the male-educated youth that is very sought after and popular. Now see her crying pitifully. There are male-educated youth began to doubt my words. Stood out to fight. Liz Bennett. There is no evidence, you don't blindly say. People. Clara Dawson said it had nothing to do with Ethan Carter. That's right. Don't start bullying people just because you can go back to the city. And don't you usually like Ethan Carter? How come you're still pretending to be reserved now that people have confessed to you? Don't be fake noble there. Ethan Carter was smiling and reached out to try to wrap me up in a hug, while saying, well, Liz is too embarrassed to say yes in front of you guys. Our Liz is rather shy. So I'll take it as she said yes. Liz, don't worry. It'll be good to you in the future. I hurriedly stepped back to avoid his hand. Ethan Carter. I'm not embarrassed and I have no intention of saying yes to your proposal. I decided to let it go after the last time I confessed my love to you and you rejected me in public. I think you should have to face your true feelings. You have to be brave to say it if you like it. Even though Clara Dawson doesn't think you are good enough for her. But you are so infatuated with her that you will surely be able to touch her if you say it. Don't you have a notebook with Clara Dawson's portrait all over it? You showed it to me last time when you rejected me. I said I would give you my blessing. Ethan Carter's notebook, which I had seen in a previous life, had been kept in a locked drawer in his study, and once he had forgotten to lock it, and I had seen it. A thick book full of Clara Dawson's portraits, and he had nervously explained that when he was young he had had a crush on Clara Dawson for some time, and had quietly drawn a lot of portraits of her. To show that it was all in the past, he threw the notebook in the trash in front of me. But when I took out the trash the next day, the notebook was gone. Presumably because he had picked it up again and carefully received it in another, more private place. I made a sudden realization. I see. You proposed to me to make Clara Dawson jealous, didn't you? That would explain all of his behavior. As soon as my words came out, Ethan Carter's whole body panicked. I looked at the very notebook he was clutching in his hand. I stepped forward and snatched it up and rushed over to Clara Dawson with an innocent look on my face. Clara Dawson, look at this. This is a whole book of portraits Ethan Carter drew of you. I flipped it open in front of everyone. And sure enough, it was full of Clara Dawson's portraits, and some educated youth snatched it up and flipped it back. Oh my gosh, a whole book of them. What an obsession. Yeah, Clara Dawson, Ethan Carter really likes you. Say yes to him. Yeah, look, hundreds of portraits. It's so touching. 3. Besides, neither of you can go back to the city, and you'll have something to look after here when you get married. This sentence made both Zhang Qing and Ethan Carter's faces completely black. They made a good plan to let Ethan Carter coax me to get married and go back to the city together. And then let Ethan Carter get her back through my dad's connections. If Ethan Carter couldn't get married to me, their plan would all go down the drain. I almost laughed out loud as I watched Ethan Carter's face darken into a potbelly. I took the hand of my fellow dormitory female educated youth Emily Cooper. Okay, let's go back to the dormitory, Ethan Carter. I wish you and Clara Dawson to be happy. Be brave and pursue your true love. Ethan Carter suddenly rushed over to grab me and said somewhat furiously, Liz Bennett, are you playing a trick on me? Haven't you been courting me all along? I've agreed to marry you now. What do you mean by that? A male educated youth couldn't look away and stepped forward to block him off. Ethan Carter, this matter of feelings has to be consensual, right? Liz Bennett said that she died and let go after you rejected her. What? You mean you're only allowed to reject people and they still have to hang on to your crooked tree? The one who opened his mouth was our same educated youth Lucas Grant. He was always big-headed and didn't like to talk to female educated youth. He didn't expect to actually help me. That's right, Ethan Carter. People are courting you. Didn't you not say yes? If you propose to people, they have to say yes. You are too unreasonable. Listening to everyone's comments, Ethan Carter's face went red for a while and white for a while. Finally he couldn't help but swing his fist over and knock Lucas Grant to the ground. I stopped him. What are you doing? Ethan Carter sneered. You didn't say yes to me because you were with him. Who doesn't know that Lucas Grant's dad is a big official? Do you want to climb up the ladder in the future in case his dad reinstates the position? You die heart. His father now can rural assignment to do not know where to remodel. You do not dream. Sap I threw a slap over. Ethan Carter. I do not agree to you. Because I can see through your kind of small man. Selfish. Always only think of themselves. Why do you propose to me? You do not just want to get married to me. Take the opportunity to return to the city. You think I don't know about the notice that just arrived in the village? Do you dare to say that you did not receive the notice, did not send it out to everyone? Back to the city. Educated youth can bring their families back to the city if they are already married. My words caused the educated youth to explode. No way. When was the notice? Ethan Carter. Get the notice out. What are you keeping it for? He's such a villain. No wonder I said he rejected Liz Bennett and Clara Dawson a while ago when they were hitting it off. How come he proposed today? So it's for the sake of returning to the city. Shameless. Really shameless. This grandson. I went forward to help Lucas Grant up and helped him wipe the ash on his face. Lucas Grant. Are you okay? Go. I'll help you rub some medicine. Ignoring the fact that Ethan Carter was surrounded by educated youths behind me. I pulled Lucas Grant away. Lucas Grant was still laughing when I was applying the medicine. I thought you'd say yes to his marriage proposal. Look at the way you were just now. It's just like your temper when you used to be in town. I gave him a suspicious look. We used to know each other. He rolled his eyes. You used to be in military compound. That guy who used to take a slingshot to your school bag. Don't you remember? I didn't just leave military compound with my parents for a few years. You have a really bad memory. A little fat guy who bullied me with a slingshot on the way to school appeared in my mind. I rubbed the red potion hard on his face. So it's you. I can't believe I didn't recognize you. How come you never said you knew me? 4. Lucas Grant bristled. You only have one Ethan Carter in your eyes. At first glance you're an idiot and I don't talk to idiots. I thought about what Ethan Carter said and asked him, your dad got a rural assignment. He was silent for a moment. Well, far away. Gone to Appalachia. My mom's been sick in town. All alone. No one to even bring medicine to. And I can't go back. I thought of the gentle Aunt Mabel who brought me candy every time I was made to cry by Lucas Grant. And then grabbed Lucas Grant and scolded him for taking it out on me. I stared at him blankly. And then suddenly spoke up. Lucas Grant, why don't we get married? So that you can go back to the city to take care of your mother. And I can also save Ethan Carter from disgusting me. Spare Ethan Carter from getting sick of me and chasing after trying to marry me. The more I thought about it, the more I felt that I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And Lucas Grant was a jerk. If I married him, Ethan Carter would never dare to come back to haunt me. After all, even if I got married, it would take a while to go through the formalities of going back to the city, and it would be hard to guarantee that there wouldn't be a change in the middle of the process. Lucas Grant's mouth was open wide, and he said halfway through the sentence, Liz Bennett, you want me to help you beat up Ethan Carter? If you want me to help you kick Ethan Carter's ass, I can do that, but I don't have to do it for you. I glared at him. Tie the knot or not. If not, I'll find someone else. Anyway. There are return permit this meat and potatoes. A lot of male educated youth want to marry me. Lucas Grant stood up. Not. Go. Go to do formalities. You are not afraid. I am afraid of what? We quickly completed the formalities and typed the marriage license. I took a long breath of relief. In this life, I finally dumped Ethan Carter. I am no longer afraid of him harming me. I want him to stay in this village forever and watch me leave happily. My life never crossed paths with him again. Lucas Grant and I completed the formalities, and did not tell anyone. Thinking that when we returned to the city, we would make up for the wedding banquet. Here anyway. We are leaving. There is no need. Lucas Grant paid a few dollars, bought some fruit candy, ready to be distributed to educated youths as wedding candies. I'm giving them to the educated youth. As I was handing out wedding candies to the educated youth, Ethan Carter and Clara Dawson came in from outside, and when he saw the candies in my hand, he smiled smugly. You went out and bought me some candies. You remembered I like this apple flavor. You rejected me in public in the morning and now you're buying candy to coax me. I'm telling you, Liz Bennett, don't think I'm going to forgive you so easily just because you bought a few candies to coax me. It's not impossible for me to forgive you and agree to marry you. Only I have conditions. I looked at him helplessly and just wanted to open my mouth to break his self-indulgence. This candy. He held up his hand to interrupt me. You said those words this morning. Damage to Clara Dawson's reputation. You have to apologize to her when the whole village face. And to make up for it, when you get back to the city, you're going to ask your father to get her another return permit to get her back to the city as well. If you're going to do that, I'm going to have to ask your father to get her another return permit. If you can do that, well, get a marriage license tomorrow, he said with a smug look on his face, and Clara Dawson tugged on his hand. Just get a return permit, and apologize to the whole village. The whole village to apologize. I'm afraid Liz is not willing to do it. After all, girls are thin-skinned. Or else, just apologize to me here. Ethan Carter looked at her. You are just too kind and soft-hearted. Then turned to look at me. How about, Liz Bennett, you apologize to Clara Dawson here, and send a telegram to get your father another return permit, and as soon as your father says yes, well, get married right away. Some educated youth opened up. Ethan Carter. These are the wedding candies of Liz Bennett and Lucas Grant. They just typed up their marriage license. Ethan Carter froze. What marriage license? Liz Bennett. How can you marry another man? 5. Didn't you say you liked me from the first time you met me and that you only wanted to be with me for the rest of your life? And then you turn around and marry another man. You're pretty promiscuous. Clara Dawson was busy gently persuading. Don't be like this. Liz must have misunderstood my relationship with you and got jealous. She is definitely not the kind of person who treads on two boats. Don't say such a harsh word. People are just married now. Then he looked at me and said, Liz, Ethan Carter and I are really just friends. You misunderstood. He still likes you. After saying that, he tugged on his sleeve. Ethan Carter looked at me with a condescending look on his face. Okay. I forgive you for fighting with me impulsively. Go get your divorce papers done with Lucas Grant and I can still marry you. Lucas Grant clenched his fists beside him. Calling my wife for a divorce in front of me. Are you fucking tired of living? After saying that, he grabbed him by the collar to punch him. I quickly stopped it. Lucas Grant, don't do it. Ethan Carter smiled smugly. See, up to now she's still defending me. She doesn't like you at all. I stopped Lucas Grant and then said, it's me he's insulting. If I have to do it, I'll do it. After I said that, I threw a hard slap across my face. Shut the fuck up. The thing I regret the most in my life, no, even my last life, is ever knowing you and liking you. But thankfully it's not too late. I opened the marriage license and placed it in front of him. Look closely. I'm married. Lucas Grant and I are legally married. Soon we'll be back in town together. Ethan Carter. I hope you and Clara Dawson can be happy here too. You'll just be here in the place you hate the most. Rural laborer for the rest of your life. My words were completely the last straw that broke his back. He grabbed me hard. No way. There's no way you could ever like Lucas Grant. I'm the one you obviously like. And if you're doing it because you care about Clara Dawson, I can just ignore her from now on. You hurry up and tell Lucas Grant that you're divorcing him and marrying me. We can go back to town together if we get married. Liz, he yelled with scarlet eyes. Ping. Ethan Carter was knocked to the ground by Lucas Grant. Do you think I'm dead? I'm breathing next to you and you're telling my wife to divorce me and marry you. Are you out of your mind? She said she doesn't like you anymore. Can't you understand human language? Liz and I are childhood friends. You don't count for shit. Ethan Carter stood up and pounced, tangling with Lucas Grant. When township leader came to separate them, Ethan Carter's face was swollen into a pig's head. Township leader shook his head and sighed. Ethan Carter, you can't make trouble because you can't pursue Liz Bennett. She's married now. Do you want to interfere in someone else's family? He's married now. Do you want to interfere in someone else's family? This kind of thinking won't work. Come to my house tonight. I'll do some thinking for you. When I passed by Clara Dawson, I pretended to talk to Lucas Grant. It seems that there are still a few educated youths returning to the city with us. Let's go and ask the township leader who else is there, so that we can have company on the road. Then I watched as Clara Dawson's demeanor changed for a moment and she lowered her head. I sneered inwardly. And the fish took the bait. Ethan Carter's big fight with Lucas Grant over me getting married spread all over the educated youth field department at once, and everyone looked at him and pointed. Didn't he reject Liz Bennett when she liked him? Oh, you don't know. This kid. He wants to get married and go back to the city. Who knows if he really likes it? He's still close to Clara Dawson. He's got his foot in two boats. He's a womanizer. He couldn't hold his head up because of the comments. Plus his face was still injured. So he simply took the opportunity to lie down in the dormitory and didn't go out. In the meantime, Clara Dawson was up to her eyeballs in activities, hobnobbing with an educated youth from another field. Lucas Grant and I hadn't been paying attention to them because we were getting ready to go back to the city, but Emily Cooper came to me and told me that Clara Dawson had fallen out with Ethan Carter and was getting married to another male educated youth. It turned out that Ethan Carter hid in the house for a few days to recuperate from his injuries, and the first thing he did when he came out was to go look for Clara Dawson. And the educated youth stammered and told him that Clara Dawson was seldom in the field, and that she hung out with the people in the field next door to her every day. Ethan Carter went to look for Clara Dawson, but he ran into a man in the field. Clara Dawson but ran into the male educated youth. Ryan Mitchell sent Clara Dawson back to the field department. The two people close to the very close. He was going to question Clara Dawson why she moved away from love. The result was Ryan Mitchell humiliated Emil. He said that he was secretly in love with Clara Dawson, not to fall back to slandering her, and told him that he and Clara Dawson has confirmed the relationship and ready marriage license. Ethan Carter did not think that Clara Dawson actually in just a week moved away from the other male educated youth, actually want to marry someone else. Ethan Carter didn't realize that Clara Dawson had moved on to another educated man in just 1 week, and that she was going to marry someone else. In the evening, I saw Ethan Carter went to Clara Dawson. He pulled her outside under the roof and questioned her directly. Clara Dawson, why would you suddenly want to marry someone else? Have you forgotten what you and I have? You're my girlfriend. Clara Dawson grimaced. Didn't you say in front of everyone that you liked Liz Bennett? Ethan Carter explained. Isn't that what we both agreed? I'll trick her into getting married first. And when we get back to town, well, try to get her dad to get another spot for you. Clara Dawson laughed. That won't be necessary. They'll be back in town as soon as I marry Ryan Mitchell. The truth is that you and I really aren't a good match. As I said at the very beginning, our families are different, and we don't think alike in all sorts of ways. It's better this way now. You don't have the means to go back to the city. I have to figure it out on my own. You can't just break someone else's way when you can't go back to the city yourself. Ethan Carter grabbed her tightly. I turned down Liz Bennett because of you. How could you do this to me? What am I going to do if I'm left here alone? If you hadn't sworn to be with me, how could I have ended up in this situation? Clara Dawson broke away from him. You're incapable yourself and you're blaming me. If I wasn't because you said you had a way, would I have been your girlfriend in the first place? Anyway, you didn't lose out. Just let it be. And you shouldn't come to me in the future, or Ryan Mitchell will be upset. He and I will get married soon. and we'll just be normal friends from now on. After saying that, he went into the girls' dormitory and slammed the door fiercely. Ethan Carter dropped to the floor and suddenly screamed with his heart ripped out. No. I won't break up. Clara Dawson. You can't marry someone else. Alarmed, all the surrounding educated youth ran out to see what the commotion was all about. Lucas Grant and I watched them fight in the house. I suddenly had a kind of painful feeling. In my last life, he counted on me. This time, his calculations are all empty. They'll see how he is going to end up. A month later, Clara Dawson and Ryan Mitchell really got married. Ryan Mitchell generously bought a lot of wedding candies cookies, but also gave money to the township leader, so that he gave all the field of educated youths to add food. When eating their wedding banquet. While everyone was having a good time, I came in with a beautiful cardboard box and put it in front of Ryan Mitchell and Clara Dawson. This is a wedding gift for you. Reaching out, Clara Dawson opened the gift box with a smile in front of everyone's face. And once she opened it, her face went black. Liz Bennett. What do you mean? Everyone probed to look over. Inside is a pair of torn shoes. Wedding on the spot to send tarnished reputation. This means who all understand. Educated youth pile exploded. Have probed to look over. I pointed to a red dress. Clara Dawson looked at Ryan Mitchell, a face of sympathy. You marry Clara Dawson. Do you know that she used to be Ethan Carter's girlfriend? Both of them have long been secret engagement. You're just picking up someone else to wear tarnished reputation. Tarnished reputation. What do you think she is? She married you so she could go back to the city. Do you think she is as simple as a white rabbit? She's ruthless. This woman, in order to get back to the city, she went so far as to ask her boyfriend to pursue me, trying to trick me into getting married and get them back to the city together. Now that you see that there's no hope of going back to the city with me, you immediately got on your boat. And you still think you've picked up a treasure. Ryan Mitchell grimaced and grabbed Clara Dawson. Tell me, is it true what Liz Bennett said? Are you having an affair with Ethan Carter? Clara Dawson cried pitifully. Don't you know what kind of person I am? I'm your wife and you watch people wrong me and hit me in the face. What's the point of me marrying someone like you? 7. Ethan Carter was dumped by her, was already angry. And now look at me to send a pair of tarnished reputation. Just in the heart of the matter, said loudly, Clara Dawson. You do not recognize as my girlfriend. I have proof. Ryan Mitchell. Does she have a peach blossom birthmark on her inner thigh? If we weren't in an intimate relationship, could I know? The educated youth group went wow and buzzed. Ryan Mitchell slapped Clara Dawson across the face. You have a tarnished reputation for lying to me about marriage. I didn't realize you were this kind of person. I'm divorcing you. Clara Dawson cried and cried. He's bullshitting. How can you believe them? If you want a divorce, I won't live. I'm going back to town to sue you for love and abandon. Township leader watched as a bunch of educated youth messed up and went crazy with anger. The township leader looked at a bunch of educated youth in a mess, and was so angry that he went crazy. Ethan Carter and Clara Dawson, the two rat turds, had stirred up the educated youth in the whole village, and their morale had been corrupted. He shouted to stop the commotion, and then pointed at Ryan Mitchell and Clara Dawson and said, You're married, and the formalities for going back to town have been completed, and the next time you go back to town, you'll have to sue me for love and abandon. Paperwork is done, and you're leaving right away next week. Back in town. Whether you guys want a divorce or not is whatever, I don't care. But in my case, no way. He also looked at Ethan Carter. If you are willing to stay honestly, you can still stay in the village. If you still want to continue to make trouble, they'll change you to another field, where the mountain is relied on. Then, you do not talk about going back to the city. You can't even get out of the mountain. Think it over yourself. If you make any more trouble, they'll report it to the higher-ups, saying that you ideological deviation. At that time, not to mention going back to the city, You can't expect anything. The township leader huffed and puffed, and Ryan Mitchell shook off Clara Dawson's hand and walked away. Clara Dawson followed, crying, "Ryan Mitchell, he can't get away with slandering me, believe me," crying as she chased after him. She ran away. Ethan Carter, drunk at the dinner table, mumbled, "I'll make it back to the city. Absolutely. Don't even think about getting rid of me." I finally breathed a long sigh of relief and, the next day, boarded the train back to the city with Lucas Grant. After we returned to the city, the municipal office gave us jobs. Lucas Grant and I have a small family. We became a real couple. He has matured a lot. No longer like the teenager, is not stingy. Become a family considerate. His mom slowly recovered from her illness after we came back to take care of her, and she began to worry about when we would have children. In the summer of the following year, I was pregnant, and the whole small family was full of laughter. When I went to the hospital for a checkup, I actually ran into Ethan Carter, who had found a way to get back to the city. "Honey, what are you looking at?" A stout and obese woman with a big belly called him from the back. Ethan Carter was busy turning back, squeezing out a smile. "Wife, I just saw a person who looks like an old friend." Looked at him a few more times, and then I couldn't find him again. "Are you done with the checkup? Let's go." The woman pouted. "Don't look at other women. I know you're a womanizer. If I find out what you've done to me, they'll tell my dad, and you'll be in for a real treat." Ethan Carter lowered his head and lightly coaxed the woman. "How can it be?" I said. "I only have you in my heart and eyes. Why are you still jealous? They can have you so virtuous and considerate." The woman was happy. "Light will use the mouth to coax people back to my home. Remember to say something good to my father, and strive to arrange your work." Later I realized that after we left, there was a new educated youth rural assignment in the past. This woman is called Olivia Richardson, the original dad when the official, and then rural assignment to the countryside. Who knows? Olivia Richardson just arrived in the village. Olivia Richardson dad reinstated position of the notice came out. But she can't go back to the city right away. The impact is not good. As a result, Ethan Carter knew the news. Every day before and after the saddle around Olivia Richardson, launched a passionate attack. Ethan Carter handsome. Olivia Richardson was soon coaxed by him dizzy. Not to 3 months has been privately booked for life. Was coaxed by Ethan Carter dizzy married. When Olivia Richardson's father found out, although he didn't agree, he had no choice but to accept his son-in-law and follow him back to the city, where Olivia Richardson was given a job by her father. But Ethan Carter's job was delayed, and he could only do some chores at home every day, which was exactly what Olivia Richardson wanted. When Olivia Richardson became pregnant, he had to accompany her to the hospital for weekly checkups. When Ethan Carter saw me at the hospital, he found out that I worked at the school and waited for me in front of the school. "Liz." I looked at him and hesitated. "What can I do for you?" Only then did he see the belly I was carrying and his face hardened. "You're pregnant." I touched my stomach and laughed. "Yeah. I've been married for over a year. It's normal to be pregnant. How about you? Look at your wife's stomach. There are 6 or 7 months. I heard that you were married not more than a few months." Marriage by child. His face was embarrassed. "I also have no choice. If I don't marry her, I have no way to go back to the city. Do I want to stay in that rural area for the rest of my life? If you had married me in the first place, I wouldn't have." I interrupted him. "Ethan Carter, it's up to you whether you can go back to the city or not. Why should I use my happiness to pave the way for you? A lot of people can't make it back in the countryside, but they're trying to make a living just the same." I looked away. "Is there anything else you want?" "Nothing. I'm leaving." 8. He reached out to stop me and looked at me pleadingly. "I can't really take it anymore with Olivia Richardson. Liz, please can you ask your dad to backdoor me and get me a job?" All I have to do is get a job and my household registration will fall on the unit and I won't have to get involved with Olivia Richardson anymore and I can leave her. I look at this man and I really don't understand how I loved him so much in my last life and have been blindsided by him. Used by him and hated by him all my life. The truth is that he has always been a selfish and self-serving person. I really don't know how I was so blind in my last life to be cheated by him for the rest of my life. And finally died in his hands. I looked at him with disgust to the core and said loudly, "Ethan Carter, that's enough. Since you're married, you should treat your wife well. She's carrying your child now. How can you say such things? You used her to get back to the city and then tried to use me to help you out with your job. How can you be so shameless with this?" Ethan Carter rushed to explain. "No, I had no choice. How could I go back to the city if I didn't coax Olivia Richardson?" As soon as the words left his mouth, he was grabbed by the collar and slapped in the face by Olivia Richardson, who had always thought that Ethan Carter was a good-looking woman, and that she would not feel at ease even if she married her, and was worried that he would fall in love with someone else. Olivia Richardson. Today, when she saw him going out alone, she kept an eye out for him and followed him quietly. I saw her hiding behind him, so I said those words on purpose. "Ethan Carter, you white-eyed wolf. So you lied to me, said you liked me, coaxed me into carrying your child, and tricked me into getting married, just to go back to the city." I added to the conversation. "You cheated on a girl. You're irresponsible. How can you even think about divorce? You're too much." Olivia Richardson stared hard at him. "You want to divorce me? No way. I'm telling you, Ethan Carter, if you want a divorce, I've got a way to make it so you can't get a job. And when that happens, no one will take you in. You'll just have to continue to rural assignment, rural assignment, rural assignment, rural assignment, rural assignment, rural assignment. So be good." Ethan Carter's face turned white. He busily stood up, lowered his head, and didn't dare to cover his face. "Wife, this is a misunderstanding. I'm just looking at an old friend from the old rural assignment time, and I want to ask her father to find a job." Olivia Richardson coldly snorted. "I don't care if you're real or fake, as long as you let me find out that you have other intentions. Don't blame me for not being polite." After saying that, she threw the vegetable blues in her hand at him. "Take it and go home and cook." Ethan Carter escapingly took the basket and followed behind, slinking away. When I was in labor, Emily Cooper, who I used to work with at rural assignment, came to visit me and talked to me about, "Do you remember Clara Dawson?" I looked up at her. "Of course I do. Not married to Ryan Mitchell and back in town with him." Emily Cooper. "Ha, you didn't know. She didn't go back to the city. Ryan Mitchell didn't want to pick up the tarnished reputation. Made a big deal out of it. Divorced her and went back to the city on his own. She stayed there as an educated youth. She's still there as an educated youth. Because her reputation was ruined, no field was willing to take her in. The township leader had no choice but to change her to a field in the middle of nowhere. And I heard that she couldn't make it, and married a punk from that village. That punk began to see her pretty, and treated her quite well, and then heard about her somewhere, and went back and beat and scolded her every day, and had a miserable life, unexpectedly. Clara Dawson went the same way as before, marrying the punk and getting beaten up every day of her life. And that Ethan Carter, didn't he coax that female educated youth to get married and go back to the city? I heard that in order to get a divorce. He hooked up with the daughter of some official, and his wife found out and divorced him. Olivia Richardson made a mess of his job, and his household registration wouldn't let him into their home, so he became a black undocumented resident. So the municipal office had no choice but to arrange for him to continue his rural assignment. Assignment to the countryside as an educated youth. Tisk. Everyone is returning to the city one after another. Only he, still being rural assignment. Really retribution. This heartbreaker. I looked at my son in my arms, thinking of my pain in my previous life. Now everything is over. In the yard, Lucas Grant came in holding a new set of dresses. Wife, today out of the month, I bought you a new dress. And a gold pendant. Try it on. When the guests come, let them envy, envy, envy. I laughed. Childish. I'm a mom now. Why do I wear such a pretty dress? Lucas Grant was so proud of himself. How childish. My wife has to dress beautifully. She has to be beautiful at all times. I have to be proud of what's wrong with her. I changed into my new dress. Put on my necklace. Lucas Grant put his arm around me and the baby. And greeted the guests who came into the yard. My brand new life was just beginning.